Hello, and welcome to another edition of the College of DuPage Police Department podcast. My name is Lieutenant Kent Munsterman, and the month of April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And we thought it would be fitting this month to have a representative from the YWCA, the nation's largest network of domestic and sexual violence services, join us today. So our subject matter expert today, our guest from the YWCA, is Colleen Zavodny. Colleen has been with the YWCA for approximately 14 years. She's the manager of advocacy and crisis intervention. Prior to that, she served as a prevention outreach specialist. She's also an alum of COD. She went on to get her bachelor's degree from National Louis University, and she had the distinction of being awarded the Adade Wheeler Woman of Distinction Award in 2012 for her work in the community. Colleen, RPD is incredibly thankful that you're able to join us today and incredibly thankful for our relationship with the YWCA. You want to take a few seconds to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for having the YWCA represented on this podcast during the month of April, which you mentioned is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The YWCA has had a long-standing relationship with College of DuPage and the police department, and we currently serve as the confidential advisor for the College of DuPage if there is a survivor who is a victim of gender-based violence and does not want to trigger the Title IX process.
Excellent. And the College of DuPage has used your services at the YWCA a number of times. And like we said, it's a resource that we're very thankful for, and we're thankful that you're here. Maybe you can get us started by telling us a little bit more about your role at the YWCA.
Absolutely. So the YWCA has a Sexual Violence Support Services Department, and it's inclusive of 3 different areas. The first area is prevention, the second area is advocacy, and the third area is counseling. We serve all survivors and their non-offending loved ones. I'm from the advocacy department, so advocates go out into the community and we go out into the hospitals and police departments if somebody presents as a victim of sexual violence. We have networking agreements with our hospitals where they go ahead and call us, and then we have to respond within 1 hour of getting that call. For the police department aspect, we're there to support a survivor both before and after the interview process. We just unfortunately can't be in the interview process due to confidentiality. Additionally, we assist with a lot of ancillary services, and those can include the Safe Homes Act, protective orders, the Victim Economic Safety and Security Act, and Title IX, like we mentioned.
And like I mentioned before, you guys have come out and helped us out any number of times with survivors of sexual violence. Maybe you can walk us through what that process looks like when an advocate is called in for services. What does that process look like?
Yeah, so that process mirrors kind of our hospital response. If College of DuPage Police Department calls us and says, hey, we have a survivor who's here and they want to make a report, then we would respond within 1 hour. We would meet with the survivor and talk to them about what their rights and their options are. We would assess whether or not they needed to go to the hospital for medical attention, and then we'd be there to support them before and after the interview. Additionally, since we serve as the confidential advisor for College of DuPage, somebody can call our rape crisis hotline number, which I'll list at the end of this podcast, or they can email or walk into our office, which is located at 2055 West Army Trail Road, Suite 110 in Addison, Illinois, and talk to an advocate about what confidential advising looks like. We can talk to them about their reporting options, both in a criminal aspect as well as a civil aspect. If they're wanting to do a Title IX investigation, that obviously is a civil investigation, and it can be really complex to have both a civil and a criminal investigation going on at the same time.
No doubt.
So we really work to make sure that students are supported throughout that process and have the right to choose what that process looks like.
And we've seen firsthand the resources that you guys provide survivors, and I can speak from firsthand experience that it's a terribly traumatic thing, and having an advocate to be by you step by step throughout that process, I would imagine is incredibly helpful and comforting to someone who's going through such a traumatic experience. And you mentioned the distinction between the criminal process and the Title IX process. You know, even as a policeman who has received training on such things, it's a complicated thing. It's not as easy as it sounds. And to have somebody like an advocate guide you through that process, to me, is crucial. It's a difficult decision to make. So in preparation for our conversation today, I kind of did some research and dove into some statistics that were stunning to me. Some of them are every 68 seconds an American is sexually assaulted. Women ages 18 to 24 who are college students are 3 times more likely in general to experience sexual violence. And then the last one, 60% of female university students have experienced unacknowledged rape. And when I read these statistics, the first thing that came to mind is how important awareness and prevention is. And from a law enforcement perspective, a big part of our mission is enhancing the community's awareness and preparedness. What initiatives does the YWCA have in place that might enhance the same awareness and preparedness for survivors or, victims of sexual violence?
That's a great question. So we know that prevention strategies have to address multiple levels. They have to address the individual. They also have to address the organizational as well as the policy and systems. At the YWCA, we have prevention programs that go out into the schools in compliance with Aaron's Law, and they teach kids in an age-appropriate manner about sexual violence. So for kindergartners, we're talking about what is a good secret, what is a bad secret, what to do if somebody's bullying you. But as things progress, as people go through and they come into first grade, third grade, fifth grade, we change that content to make it match where they are developmentally.
Excellent. And how can we become more effective at spreading awareness and enhancing awareness?
Yeah, so community awareness is such a large aspect of the YWCA's work. When I first started, we were known as the best kept secret. And I was like, why are we a secret? People should know about our services if they ever need them, right? I wanted to make sure that if a crisis occurs, somebody knows what our hotline number is and can reach an advocate. So we make sure that we are out in the community in a variety of ways. We make sure that we are out on all platforms, so social media, in-person events, print materials, and podcasts like this one today.
Awesome. I'll be honest with you, before we forged a relationship with the YWCA, I'm not sure we knew a lot about it. I'm not sure we knew a lot about the resources that you guys offer. So outreach is critically important, and the services that you provide are worthy of all the outreach efforts that you guys are engaged in. So
Thank you.
Excellent stuff. One of the other things I learned through the research that I conducted is the scope of the YWCA is far broader than I ever knew about. What are some of the other resources that the YWCA offers?
Yeah, so when YWCAs originally came into the community, they all came into communities who needed different things, right? So there are some YWCAs that actually do have a gym facility. There are some YWCAs that are geared towards domestic violence. Ours in DuPage is geared towards sexual violence support services, but we have a multitude of other programs. So those programs include Early Head Start, as well as our Child Care Assistance Program. We also have a list of all licensed daycare providers throughout DuPage County, which was really beneficial when I gave birth to a daughter and needed to find a daycare facility, right?
No doubt.
Project Help, which is child abuse prevention, and then we also have economic empowerment services programs.
Far broader scope than I ever imagined, and all those services and resources are crucial to young mothers and to parents and to people who need those resources. The police department is hugely thankful for, like I said, having you guys as a partner. The services that you offer survivors and victims is crucial. Like we talked about, we've seen the firsthand importance of the resources that you guys offer and the comfort and support that you offer survivors. So we want to thank you for everything that you and your team does. And we're also very sensitive to the fact, I think, of the police department that not all survivors are ready to come and speak to law enforcement. And so we have an approach that we're always ready, we're always available, we're always ready for when that time is right for people. And when that time is right, it's nice to know that the YWCA can offer an advocate to help them get through that very difficult process. There's no question it's difficult. Where can people go to learn more about the resources that the YWCA offers?
So our website is ywcachicago.org, or people can call our rape crisis hotline. That number is 888-293-2080. We welcomed ourselves to the 21st century, and so Monday through Friday, you can actually text that number from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're hoping to expand that to a 24-hour text hotline as well. So that's how people can reach us. We are also available on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram. We want to make sure that our social media profile is really, really large and make sure that people have access to all of our services.
Colleen, in closing, I just want to thank you for taking the time to join us, on our your very first podcast. Thank the YWCA for allowing you to join us today. Do you have anything else in closing that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the partnership, right? We've been working to make sure that survivors have trauma-informed care in a multidisciplinary way. And College DuPage Police Department was one of the first departments to say, anytime somebody discloses, we're going to dispatch an advocate and have an advocate come to the college. So that's a really important part of working with a multidisciplinary team. And we cannot do this if we are not communicating with everyone and working at the best interest of the survivor, and COD Police Department definitely is.
Great stuff. So in closing, I just want to add that if you are looking for more outreach opportunities from the police department, we offer a myriad of different opportunities, anything from fraud awareness and prevention. We offer active violence preparedness and awareness and prevention classes. We offer crisis intervention and situational awareness classes, a whole broad spectrum of classes. You can find those opportunities on our website and on our social media sites. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and we look very forward to seeing you again on the next COD Police Department podcast.